Hey everyone, welcome back. So far, we've covered conditionals, loops, and even number problems like sum of digits. Now we are stepping into something a bit lower level but super powerful, which is bitwise operators in C. All data in computers is stored as binary, ones and zeros. Bitwise operators allow us to manipulate numbers directly at the bit level. And here are three most important ones. We have the AND bitwise operator, represented by the ampersand symbol. Okay. We also have the OR bitwise operator, represented by this vertical line. And then we have the XOR bitwise operator, represented by this caret symbol. Now, how do this operate? The AND operator returns 1 when both bits are 1. So, meaning you can only have only 1 and 1 equal 1. If this is 0, you will have 0. If you have it vice versa, you also have 0. And now 1 and 1 will always give us 1. So you can have the result of an AND operation to be 1 only if both inputs are 1. And for OR will be 1 if only one input is 1. Okay, so that's how OR operator works. Once you have only one input to be 1, OR will be 1. If you have both input to be 1, OR will also be 1. Now, XOR operator is interesting. The XOR operator gives you 1 if both inputs are different. So once they are different, it will give you 1. Once they are the same, it will give you 0. Okay, so this is how the three operations work. If you have 1 XOR 1, you will get 0. But if you have them different, then you get 1. So this is these three operations. Now, what is most important is for you to know these symbols, since that's what we'll be using in our code. Now, we are going to jump straight into the challenge. So the challenge is asking us to write a function called calculate the maximum. This function takes in two integers, n and k. It considers all pairs of integers from 1 to n. So for instance, if n is equal to 3, then we are going to consider all the pairs of integers from 1 to 3. So that means we are going to consider 1, 2, we are going to consider 1, 3, and we are going to consider 2, 3. That's how it works. And if n was 5, you get the idea. We'll keep going. So we are going to consider all pairs of integers from 1 to n. Then we'll calculate the maximum value of the AND operation, OR operation, and XOR operation that is less than k, and then print each maximum on a new line. I know this sounds like a lot, but we are going to take everything step by step, and you are going to appreciate every single thing we do. Okay, so now the first thing, breaking it down, the first thing we need to do is get our pairs of values. Okay, so get our pairs. Let me say AD. We're trying to get our pairs first. Then when we get our pairs, we can now get the operations. Okay, the result of the operations. Then we can now get the max and prints. So these are are the things we are trying to do. Now to get our pairs, we can simply employ the for loop. Okay, now we need two numbers. Okay, the first we have, let's say n is pi. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. That means this is our range of numbers we are dealing with. Okay, now if this is our range of numbers we are dealing with, if I want the pair, this is an easy way for me to generate it. I pick the first number, make it stagnant, and pair it with every other number within the list till I get to the last number. After I'm done, I take the second number, make it stagnant, and pair it with the numbers that follow. Now, I don't have to pair the second number with 1 because that is this pair. Okay, so we just keep going. Then when I'm done, what do? I pick the third number and then pair it with the remaining digits. Okay, then I pick the fourth number. You get the idea. So now what is happening is that it's like having a for loop, okay, within another for loop, whereby the first for loop starts with the first integer, and then the second for loop starts with the next integer, and both end at the last integer. So let's write this for loop and then you understand what I'm saying. So we are going to have for int a is equal to 1, because we'll always start as 1. Okay, a should be less than or equal to n. Less than or equal to because per the question is supposed to be inclusive. Okay, and then a plus plus. Then we'll have another for loop will be int. But in this case, our for loop will start from a plus 1. It won't start from 1. Okay, because it's supposed to start from the next number. So that's the reason why it's a plus 1. Now you see, for the first for loop, it will start with 1, then it will go to 2. So we'll have to make this part start from 3 when a is equal. So basically, the b will always be 1 more than a. That's the idea. So now, int b will be equal to a plus 1. B should also be less than or equal to n and b plus plus. Good. So now we can see we've generated our pairs. Now what do we have to do? We need to find the bitwise operations. So now before we do that, I'd like to create some variables at the top here. So we are going to have a variable, an integer variable for the max of all. Initialize it to 0. Max of end, initialize it to 0. And max of XOR, also initialized to 0. And then we are going to have our integer value for just the OR operation between AB. So then do it AB OR, also 0. AB and also 0. And AB XOR, also 0. Okay, so now what are we going to do? We are going to first calculate the AB end, which will be A and B. Then we'll calculate AB OR, okay, which will be A or B. Then we'll calculate AB XOR, which will be A XOR B. Then now we are going to say if AB end is less than K, because we want to make sure that it's always less than K. That's the condition we're given. And now in this case, we are not doing a bitwise end, but rather we are doing a conditional end, which I haven't spoken about, but it's good to introduce here. So what this is saying is that if this statement is true, okay, this statement is true, and then the second statement is also true, then run whatever you have within the if block. That's basically what it did. It's working like a normal end, but in this case, it's not bitwise. It's working on statements. Okay, so this one is saying if the AD end calculator is less than K, then it is valid for us to be considered. Then also, if it is greater than the max end, okay, then what we are going to do is we are going to set max end to the equal to AB end, so that the max end will now hold the real maximum value for the end. And then we are just going to repeat this for the other operations. So we're going to have AB or AB or. Let me get all this done and then get back to you. Good. So now we are done. So we do for AB or we do for AB XOR. And then now our last thing that we're supposed to do is to print the value for the AND or an XOR. So this is print the maximum values for AND or an XOR, each on a separate line. So we are going to do that outside of the for loop, but within general function. We are going to have printf %d\n for new line, and then this again. And what are we going to print? We're going to print the max of AND, then the max of OR, then the max of XOR. And that is it. As simple as ABC. We get our pairs, we get the operation result, we get the max, and then we print that. So let's run the code and see if it works out. And yes, we pass. Now let's submit and see if it passes all test cases. And it does. Perfect. So that's it for today's video. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below, and I make sure to read all questions and answer them in the next video that I upload. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next video, where we continue exploring C step by step.